This is Inside the Locker Room, where football isn't just a game, it's a war zone. Every take, unfiltered. Every prediction, ruthless. From Sunday battles to primetime legends. We break down the matchups, the mind games, and the moments that define champions. Fantasy, film, trash talk, all inside the locker room. So if you came for smoke, you're in the fire now.
What's up? We're back with another episode of Inside the Locker Room, live episode at that. And we have finished our first two slates of NFL games. You know, we're just waiting for Sunday Night Football, but it's already been a wild one in the I'm not college football, but in the NFL today. Just crazy. And before we even talk, about the Cowboys Giants, because I know a lot of people want to talk about that game, I actually want to talk about the Jets and the Bills. Ben, I know, I know it's a, I know
Get
it's
out
a
of the
hard
way.
topic.
Get it out of the way.
I know it's a hard topic, but we got to get out the way. And we had a lot of hype coming in for the Jets this offseason. I mean, they lost a close one last week against the Steelers, and you kind of thought it would be close against the Bills, but the Bills kind of went out and manhandled them. But Ben, just what are your thoughts on it? Because you are the Jets fan, you are the one that covers the New York Jets.
I mean, Aaron Glenn said it simply enough after the game. He simply did not have them ready to play this Sunday, and they absolutely got dismantled on both sides of the football. At one point, the offense had a total of 27 yards. 27 yards. The time of possession was doubled by the Bills. They had the football for, like I said, double the time of possession. Tyrod Taylor played most of the game with Justin Fields going out with a concussion, so does not look good there. And I mean, the Jets, they have Tampa Bay coming up next, Miami, Dallas. I honestly don't see them winning a game until maybe week 7 against Carolina, and that's if they're lucky. It's easy to, not be optimistic with this Jets team of what they've shown us this past, couple years, and especially what they've shown us today. I mean, Breece Hall got shut down. Braylon Allen, nothing. I mean, this whole team, obviously is just different without Justin Fields, but I mean, and you got to give props to the Bills as well. Josh Allen throwing for over 200 yards yet again. James Cook getting in there, and then the Bills defense still just attacking the line of scrimmage with authority there. And it was kind of crazy to see Josh Allen go out with that kind of nose bruise for a little bit that he got from Quinnen, but obviously it didn't affect them that much, and he came right back in the game and decided to slice and dice the Jets defense, which is indeed Swiss cheese this year. So that's my, I guess, instant reaction to the Jets. And I see us as like a bottom 5 team yet again.
Bummer. That was sad to hear.
Sometimes you wanna say, okay, look, maybe it's because Justin Fields wasn't playing, but you always got to answer that there's other questions. And like you said, the defense is trash.
The thing is, Tyrod Taylor got the offense into the end zone while Justin Fields couldn't. And
exactly. The game was already out of reach.
You could say, it was a garbage time touchdown, but at the same time, it's like it's kind of ridiculous at that point.
I mean, and that's just been the a lot of teams that we had high expectations for coming into this season. There's teams that haven't lived up to them, and there's some teams that have lived up to them. That's just what's crazy about football. Come to the next game, Steelers versus Seahawks. Adam, I know you're glad that y'all got y'all's first win. I know you're kind of upset about the loss last week because I still think the Seahawks should have won. I still believe that y'all are better than the 49ers. I still do think that. But they finally got their win this week against, Rodgers and the Steelers. Just your quick thoughts on that.
Real quick on the Jets, really quick. I'll just personally take full responsibility and say I jinxed the Jets pregame by putting 3 different Jets players on my start list, including Breece Hall, Justin Fields, and Garrett Wilson, the obvious 3. Instead of it being where I thought they were just going to all do well because they were the only ones, basically the Buffalo Bills just keyed in on the 3 best players and just shut them the heck down. And
run the ball.
It was kind of wraps after that. James Cook had 2 touchdowns, had a good day. But onto the Seahawks. Torrey Horton Jr., congratulations to him. His very first NFL catch was a touchdown to get the scoring started. My boy JSN, that was one I did get right. He had another 100-yard game. Now he's got 2 100-yard games to start the season. Didn't Jason Myers? He hopefully it was just an off day, but he missed the easy one. He did not look great, but defense as a whole looked pretty good. I mean, for week 1, tough loss, but had I think 2 picks, if not 3. And then this week had another, I believe, a couple picks. Kenneth Walker, he rebounded in the first half. It was the Zach Charbonnet was getting way more snaps, but he only had it was like 10 carries for 9 yards. So it's kind of the opposite of last week, where Charbonnet kind of ended up taking the backseat to the hot hand of Kenneth Walker. So that was nice to see him bounce back. And AJ Barner got on the board with a touchdown. Otherwise, just happy to get that first win. NFC West is cooking so far these first couple of weeks. 7-1 as a division. The only loss is the Seahawks to the 49ers in the division. So yeah.
And actually, because I want to say the Cowboys, because that is probably the game that everybody's going to talk about. I'm gonna say that for last. Joe Burrow went out with the turf toe injury or toe injury. I really wasn't looking too much into that right before we started recording. What does that mean for the Bengals? Just coming to the season, you paid T. Higgins, you paid Jamar Chase, and now you don't have a quarterback like Joe Burrow at the starting helm. What does that mean for the Bengals going forward? Do you think this is going to hurt them with their chances to win the division? Or do you think like maybe this is going to be like how it was last year, where they may have to fight for, this playoff spot? And because, I mean, right now,
just cut out, but I'm assuming you're going to come back.
Yeah, he's back.
Yeah. Can y'all hear me?
Yep.
Yeah. But so, like, just what is y'all's thoughts about, because like I said, I don't think the defense is going to be capable, or they already weren't the best anyways. And with Shamar Stewart going out, that's another defensive piece out.
Yep.
You got 2 players out. So just what are y'all thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I thought Jake Browning, the backup quarterback for the Bengals, he actually looked pretty well today. I mean, he obviously won them the game against Jacksonville, but I certainly think that definitely hurts their, playoff chances and their chances to win the division. It all depends on how long Joe Burrow is out.
Exactly.
We saw, turf toe, with even quarterback. Actually, no. We saw different toe injuries. It just depends on how long, Joe Burrow's out for. But it's not like they can go and grab a free agent quarterback off the market to, aid them in this. They're stuck with Jake Browning, but the Jaguars as well. They shown flashes, with ETN still getting involved this week. Brian Thomas, still on the offense, but then I think the biggest thing for me as well too is, Travis Hunter increased the workload on both sides of the ball, but then he kind of went out for a little bit, thought he had an injury, but then came back later in the game. But ultimately the Bengals squeaked out with the win. Are they better than the Steelers without Joe Burrow? I don't know, but are the Steelers going to be that good in general this year? We're going to have to see. Going back to the Seattle game real quick, I thought they went after the quarterback very well. Saw Rodgers taking a lot of sacks, but then we also saw DK cooking a little bit there against his former team.
Thought it was going to be a revenge game, but then he just kind of had that one touchdown, and then we kind of had him under wraps.
Yeah, so interesting games there.
I think
go ahead. Oh, did you cut out again?
Yeah, I think so.
Gonna say I can just start talking, but it'll probably end up just like a gargled mess of us both talking at the same time.
Mm.
Adam,
is back.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, you're back. So yeah, I agree with Ben. It kind of boils down to how long it's gonna be. I just peeped the next 2 weeks. Bengals play the Vikings and then the Broncos. So 2 of the best defenses in the entire league, probably. So I think it's a matter of ceiling, where Joe Burrow would be enough to get him over the top potentially. Jake Browning, he was hit and miss. He's one of the new clipboard Jesuses for me. I love Jake Browning. Like, he balls out usually when Joe Burrow has got hurt in the past, but at the same time, he also had multiple picks. So I think it's going to be a tough couple weeks. So if they were to go 0-2, yeah, that's gonna start 2-0 and then go 2-2. Just because of Joe Burrow's injury, it's gonna be tough. I think they can still rally. Just because there's been some other teams that have got off to a rough start, but overall, it's definitely gonna hurt. And since you mentioned the Seahawks game again, Ben, there was one thing I forgot to mention. There was just one weird play where Caleb Johnson, the ball, like it was a kickoff, the ball came to him, and it's a live ball with the new kickoff rules if it lands in the landing area, but it also hit him, and then it just seemed like a very blatant rookie mistake. He didn't even chase after the ball. It was basically a free touchdown for the Seahawks, and we ended up winning by more than one score, but it definitely affected the game and like the game flow and the momentum. So I kind of feel bad for Caleb Johnson in a way because it's probably gonna be a really long time until he gets like any good type of running back touches. But
Yeah, but talking about this AFC North.
Say that again, Deuce.
Yeah, our connection's not great right now.
I honestly don't think they're gonna be able to. Oh, I thought it's going in and out. But like I said, they're 2-0 right now. But without Joe Burrow, and you said they're playing two of the best defenses in the next 2 weeks, Adam. I honestly don't think that Bengals are gonna be able to compete with these teams without Joe Burrow. Like I said before, their defense is already lackluster. So, can y'all hear me?
I can hear you again. Yeah, you just keep cutting
Okay.
out.
Okay.
Couldn't hear you for like the last 10 seconds.
I don't know what's up with this school Wi-Fi. It's what happens when everybody's on it. But
like 7 o'clock makes sense.
Yeah, it's all good.
Yeah, but also to add more to that, before it cuts out again, I honestly think that if they had to put up a fight with the Jaguars, and yes, the Jaguars were 1-0. I don't think the Jaguars are as good as that record tried to make it. So if you had to put up a close game with the Jaguars, it's not a good look. But jumping into this Eagles Chiefs game, we do got a comment. It's time for Kelsey to retire. We can answer this first before we go on and talk about the recap of the game. But just what is y'all's thoughts on that?
I mean, I'm pretty sure it was going to be one of his last years, if not the last, regardless. So, I mean, I think the NFL wants to certainly sell those Travis Swift jerseys. So maybe they'll do that before he retires. But, I mean, yeah, Chiefs 0-2. We'll talk about that in a second.
Yeah, I don't
think
last year. You thought he should have retired last year? I mean, he's not quite like as dominant as he has been over the last 8 years, but I mean, he's still probably the best tight end at finding that soft spot in the zone. He still has the skills and ability to do it. I mean, he had a bad
impressive.
Yeah, it was a bad drop, or basically just it was a catchable ball that could have been a touchdown, and then it ended up getting bouncing up in the air and getting intercepted, which ended up being a very, very crucial play in the game. But I mean, I'm not ready to say that it's time for Kelsey to retire, because I think similar to Jason Witten, they're just those type of players that just find the soft spots. They find the right areas to get the catches, and he's gonna continue to do it as long as he wants to. But yeah, I don't think it's time to retire yet.
But I mean, talking about the game, I most definitely think that the Eagles defense is really a big key factor for for having them with these games, because they look incredible. I in the power, I didn't want to give the Eagles their props, but eventually you got to give the props when it's due. They look, I just think they look better defensively than they look offensively. And like you said, Ben, you could debate who played better, Jalen Hurts or Patrick Mahomes today, but ultimately who came out to win was the Eagles. And I will say that touch push is just something that can never be stopped. Every time I look at that, I'm like, this is just this is a given free first down right here.
Yeah.
And
they're gonna keep running it for the longest.
Yeah, no, it's ugly, but it gets the job done. It's definitely it reminds me of old school football, but at the same time, it's you didn't have that play before. But I guess kind of similar to Jerome Bettis, who was basically a fullback size. They called him the bus, but you just hand him the ball. It was basically Derrick Henry size, probably minus the height. And he'd get a couple of yards, and when you just need a half a yard, a few inches, that's all you need. But no, I agree with you that it's the Eagles defense. You saw the impact of Jalen Carter being on the field this game. And they didn't. I mean, it's Jalen Hurts doesn't have to do that much on a given day. Some people will say he's not a top 10 quarterback because he can throw for a ton of yards, but he does whatever he needs to do on the given play. He can, run for 10 yards if the middle of the field's open. He can, get that 1 yard tush push. But Mahomes, if he hadn't ended up scoring a touchdown a few plays later, he missed Tyquan Thornton in the fourth quarter. Like he was wide open. He would have walked in for the touchdown. He ended up getting a touchdown to Tyquan Thornton in like the center of the field a few plays later, and it didn't end up affecting the game. But at the same time, the Eagles just played a better game overall. Saquon Barkley didn't do anything crazy, but they just controlled the line of scrimmage, controlled the game, played good defense. That's all you need to do. It's winning football.
Yeah, and I mean, before, like I said, we're going to say the Cowboys for last. Are there any other games that just stood out to y'all today that y'all just want to talk about? And I let Ben go first and then pass him right to Adam.
I mean, just really quickly going over my notes. I mean, another team that got spanked was the Chicago Bears. Jared Goff threw for 5 touchdowns. I mean, Ben Johnson absolutely got embarrassed in Detroit. Let's be real. I mean, we saw the Detroit Lions defense literally hitting like one of Ben Johnson's play calls as a celebration after stopping your offense. I mean, that's kind of crazy. I mean, Caleb Williams did throw for 200 yards, don't get me wrong, and 2 touchdowns. But I mean, Amon-Ra, he owns Chicago at this point. He exploded in that game. He went for 115 yards, but caught 3 touchdowns. 3 touchdowns. He got a 40 burger in fantasy, so I got to mention that game. And then, Colts Broncos. I mean, I feel like that game was just mind-boggling. The Colts moved to 2-0. Danny Dimes is 2-0, while the Giants are 0-2. What is 2025, ladies and gentlemen? I mean,
and I'm gonna say this.
Go ahead, Juice, real quick.
Would you say, okay, I want to word this properly. Would you say that the Bears are just not good, or that the Packers just held the Packers defense is extremely good that they held, the Lions last week? So which one is it? I kind of think it's a mixture of both.
I think I agree with you there, because it's like it's weird because the Bears, they're losing these games, but Caleb Williams still looks, he doesn't look bad. So I certainly think it's the Chicago's defense that's certainly, not helping them win these games. I mean, they're letting up a lot of points here, especially 52, I believe it was 52 points. Yeah.
50.
So that's insane. I mean, we know the Detroit Lions offense is good. They've been good for, the past 2 seasons, but, we just wasn't expecting, this type of, I'll say this, ass whooping for the Bears. And then, I'll go back to the Broncos game really quick. Like, Bo Nix threw for 3 touchdowns. He had 200 yards, but Jonathan Taylor and the Colts defense won that game, in my opinion, for the Colts. Danny Dimes, he threw for 300 yards. He didn't pass for any touchdowns, but he still moved the ball efficiently. But, help from Tyler Warren as well aided the Colts in that victory. And, we also saw Pat Surtain leave early for a little bit. So, all these things affecting the Broncos in a loss against the Colts. And shout out to my boy MJ. He's saying that the Broncos, that Sean Payton will absolutely flame and freaking stir fry the Broncos for losing to the Colts this week during practice. They're going to be running a lot this week.
To answer your question, Deuce, I think it's more the Packers just are that good on defense with Micah Parsons, more so than the Chicago Bears are just like this terrible 0-2 team. I think they're still going to get plenty of wins on the season. I should maybe be careful about saying plenty, but I think they're going to win quite a few games this season. And I still think they could be an outside chance at a playoff team, even with an 0-2 record. I think it's you only have an 8% chance of making the playoffs when you start 0-2, something crazy low like that. But I think they can round into form, and I think the Lions getting shut down by the Packers again was the Packers defense, and this is more just like how good the Lions are. I think maybe it took them a week to get started, missing Ben Johnson a little bit in week 1, but today they were able to get back to Jahmyr Gibbs, chunk gains, as Ben said. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 3 touchdowns, and Jared Goff with, I think you said overall 5 earlier today, or earlier before we went on. So yeah, I'll leave it with that game with that. But Patriots Dolphins. That was a game that came down to the wire. I didn't expect the Dolphins to put this good of a showing on the field after week 1, but at the same time, I think they just kind of had a really, really bad week 1, and they still have a lot of talent. Like Tyreek Hill's still on the team. Tua had a big bounce back game. And otherwise, the Patriots Drake May just kind of just felt like he controlled the game. Let me see real quick. Yeah, Jalen Waddle, I didn't expect to do quite as well, but yeah, he got open quite a few times. He had a pretty good game. And then we had that was an exciting thing for me too. They had the back-to-back kickoff returns for a touchdown, which I don't know the last time that's ever happened. So we might see that multiple times this year with the new kickoff rules. I know.
They said it's easy. They said it's easier to score on the new kickoff rules from this year. I was listening earlier, so
yeah, because you can't be moving. You have to wait to move until the ball's caught. So it completely changes everything. You have guys coming in a lot lower speeds. You're able to get different angles because you're already accelerating and moving at a faster speed. So I mean, to shout out Three Guys Six Balls podcast, they were talking about like, what do you guys think? Do you guys like the new rule, or do you guys dislike the new rule?
I dislike it, to be honest. I miss the old kickoff rule. I mean, certainly, helps with injuries, and I definitely do want more safety for the league, and I'm all for that. But as far as the entertainment aspect of it, I feel like the old kickoff was better in terms for kickoff returns. But I guess this new rule, it's easier to score. So, but yeah, and then I want to talk about the 49ers game for just a second after you guys answer that. After Deuce answers that.
I mean, new kickoff rules. I like it because it we spoke on how the old kickoff. A lot of players were getting injured, but what I don't like is just that it makes it easier for the returning team to score. It gives them more of an advantage. But I mean, hey, like 5-10 years, I mean, people probably have it all figured out how to contain.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could have a different kickoff coverage that could work better.
Yeah, so that's just what happens with new rules. That's just part of learning. That's adapting. That's part of adapting to new rules. But
that's true.
I'll say I personally like it just because the kickoffs are, in my opinion, one of the most exciting things. I will say it's like it seems less exciting now because you don't have like 47 changes of direction to get around the entire team. Now it's just more of like one cut, get around here, and then get to the corner. So it's a lot easier to get that edge. But I mean, it's just going to inflate scoring. It's going to make drives more sustainable, and you're going to be starting on like the 40-yard line a lot more. So, I mean, I think overall I like it. But go ahead, Ben, about the 49ers.
Yeah, I was just going to say really quickly. I mean, I know I got a lot of heat for putting the 49ers as low as I did because of their injuries. We saw them come on top of the Saints today. Mac Jones, 3 touchdowns. I mean, I'll ask you guys this, and this is kind of like my main question from the 49ers, game. They're 2-0 here. But for this Saints 49ers game, do you guys think it was more of the Saints defense not being able to, perform to the best of its ability or just perform at all? I kind of think it was also just a matchup of just a coach who's been to the Super Bowl and Kyle Shanahan. And then also, on the Saints side, we have a brand new rookie head coach in Kellen Moore. So that's honestly the first thing I looked at when I was looking at this matchup. I mean, where would you guys, sort of put the 49ers in I guess, a sort of rankings now? I mean, do you guys see Brock Purdy coming back anytime soon as well? What does that look like?
I'm going to say this. The 49ers are most definitely not, in my opinion, a top 10 team. I think the Seahawks should have beat them. And I feel like if the 49ers fans who claim that they're a top 15 had a Saints, they had too close of a game with the Saints for me to say, hey, y'all are a top 15 team. And they had too close of the game with the Seahawks. So I still think they should have lost last week. Ben, you had them where you ranked them. I would have probably ranked them a little bit higher. Yeah. But, like you said, injuries, is a big factor when coming
Mhm.
into, when you look at this stuff down the line. This may catch up to the 49ers. I just think the 49ers got saved by the grace of God that they play a trash Saints team who is probably either, and I'm sorry, Michael, they're probably the worst team in the league. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, their offense does have flashes. They've shown flashes, but the defense is atrociously bad. Um, and like I said before, they came too close with the Seahawks last week. Yes, they're no, but I think records don't tell the full story.
Yeah. I think the perfect way to put it after this week, I would say the Chiefs are probably the best 0-2 team, and then the 49ers are probably the worst 2-0 team.
That could
I
work.
mean, I low key just think
Or
it's
maybe the
debatable.
Colts. I don't know. The Colts for real. I just think we don't have a big enough sample size
Yeah.
yet. I
Yeah.
think week 1, 49ers versus the Seahawks, that was the most like indicative of like their actual quality of play. But Brock Purdy threw multiple interceptions. Seahawks should have won. They just had a couple of boneheaded plays towards the end of the game that allowed the 49ers to squeak it out. But like you said, Deuce, I completely agree with that. That you just let a very bad bottom 5 Saints team stick around. And Spencer Rattler,
Yeah.
I'll give Spencer Rattler some credit. He had like a
Facts.
Houdini rush move where he
Yeah.
got through.
He juked the
He threw
heck
for
out of
3
that guy.
touchdowns. He looked really, really good. So it's not like the 49ers are, I don't think they're missing much on defense. So if anything, yeah, it's more of a red flag to me than anything that you let Spencer Rattler, who some people might say is like the 32nd best quarterback in the league, put 3 touchdowns on you. So I think we need to see more. Let me see if I can pull it up real. Let me see week 3. Who do the 49ers play next? Oh, my phone's tweaking, but either way, it doesn't matter. Yeah, hey, wait, never mind. I got it. They play the Cardinals next, so that's a good test. 2-2-0 teams against each other. The
Yeah.
Cardinals also haven't necessarily. I mean, they played the Panthers this week. They haven't necessarily been like super tested either. So then we'll kind of see if either team's for real. But not to throw too much shade at Brock Purdy, but Mac Jones just steps into that 49er system, and all of a sudden he's a 3 touchdown magician. He did talk about post game how he was like more focused on breathing and how like really controlling his breathing is making him a better player. So maybe there is something to that. Maybe Mac Jones is just like double, or he's a way better player now all of a sudden. But I don't know. Not really ready to say that. I think it's more maybe the 49er system.
So we do got a comment from Noah. He says, "Any thoughts on Bryce Young and what's next for him and Dak Prescott MVP?"
Man, I mean, I was kind of disappointed on the way the Panthers game started. I actually had them winning today, but they came up short against the Panthers. I mean, Ted McMillan is still getting looks. He's still making some nice grabs there. Adam Thielen, even actually no, I'm sorry, Adam Thielen's on the Vikings now. I meant to say Hunter Renfrow. Still getting involved there. I
2
believe he got a touchdown. Yeah,
He had
exactly. He had 2 touchdowns. So I think we're still on the right path of Bryce Young, maybe, potentially taking a step up. But I think just maybe the Panthers defense just suffers too much. They let up a lot of, yards and points to the Arizona Cardinals. And, not to discredit the Cardinals at all, because their offense has been pretty good so far this season. But yeah, I think it was a mistake for me to have the Panthers winning today.
Yeah, I thought the Cardinals were going to probably handily win. But at the same time, like they dominated in the first half and then they let the Panthers back in it. So, I mean, to answer Noah's question about Bryce Young, is what we saw in the first half, is that the Bryce Young, or is the second half Bryce Young where he was making plays, he was scrambling, he was getting out of the pocket and throwing for touchdowns? Is that the real Bryce Young? So I don't know. I think the jury's still out on that one. He could still round in the form. They could still have a good season, but I think it's another year. The Panthers are going to have to get a better defense. Just really, they don't have an identity, if that makes sense. Like they're not a running team. They're not a defensive team. They just kind of like go out there and play and hope for the best. And I think Bryce Young's kind of doing the best he can with what he has. He's got an offense now. He's got Tetro McMillan, but then Jalen Coker went down. Right when they traded Adam Thielen, they lost Jalen Coker too. So that's where they had to bring in Hunter Renfrow. I know he had 2 touchdowns, but like It's not the big body guy like you had with Jalen Coker, and Xavier Legette supposedly was supposed to take a big step, and he was supposedly playing, but I didn't really see him out there doing anything or catching any balls. So yeah, and I think Noah was joking about Dak Prescott MVP.
Yeah, I guess
also.
I guess we could get into the Cowboys Giants game now.
I'm gonna say this about Dak Prescott. I mean, he don't look bad. It's not the offense that looks bad. It's the defense that looks horrible.
Yeah,
and this is I'm gonna say this like before we start talking about the game. I feel like if Dak Prescott has a great season, that's gonna be overlooked by the defense because the defense is so bad that they're gonna be the reason why the Cowboys lose these games. Oh my gosh. But I'm gonna try to talk about this Cowboys Giants game really quick before my Wi-Fi starts going out. Matt Eberflus, you gotta go, bro.
Oh, and then his Wi-Fi goes out.
Well, he got Matt Eberflus in.
Yeah,
he'll come back.
No,
he'll come back and you can get it started again.
I'm back.
All right, we heard Matt Eberflus has got to go, and then whatever you said after that.
I'm still at a loss for words for the game. It doesn't make sense to me how like.
No, we lost him again.
Zone.
Yeah,
it's going out.
Wi-Fi, streaming
my
stuff, doing their homework.
I don't. It's all these students on this Wi-Fi, and I'm trying to say this like quickly as possible, so I can at least get it. Man. But man, go. All right, can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't hear anything though. It cut out right as you said, like, let me try to get in really quick.
Okay.
Think you're good now.
Matt Eberflus reminds me of Mike Nolan 2.0. I don't know why. It feels like this year that the Cowboys are going to have to score a lot of points to win games. Trayvon Diggs, I'm sorry, but you are not the same corner that you once were, bro. I just watched Malik Neighbors toast you all game. Donovan Wilson, you got to go. Malik Hooker, you got to go. It's just the secondary is like the biggest like just red flag on that defense. No way that Russell Wilson, who I give Russell Wilson his props from giving. He had a great game today, but with players like that and like Trayvon Diggs, you just got paid, but you're letting Russell Wilson, and the defense in general just throw for 400 yards on you. That's a bad look. Okay.
Yeah, Cowboys are really missing Deron Bland. I'll just throw that in there. Well, Deuce is cutting out again.
Okay, I'm back. But Micah Parsons' presence is most definitely missed. The Cowboys were creating pressure, but it was just not the same type of pressure that we had when Micah Parsons was on that field. They create the pressure, and then it's like the pressure just is non-existent after because Russell Wilson was able to find the gaps, scramble, or find a quick dish out to get some yards. I would say this: Brent Maher needs to be paid all the money because he is a lifesaver. The fact that you can just get to the 50-yard line and just kick a field goal. You normally see teams want to get to that 30-yard line, that 40-yard line, but to get to just half field, that's
like 4-yarder.
You mean Brandon Aubrey, right?
Yeah, Brandon Aubrey. Okay, yeah, I don't know why I said Maher, but yeah, Brandon Aubrey. The fact that he can just be content with getting to the 50-yard line to kick a field goal is a lifesaver. Teams always want to go to like that 30, that 35-ish yard line because that's the perfect spot. For Maher, he can go further. And I believe that he could have kicked farther than 64 yards or
that would have been good from like 67, 68, maybe. It was hooking, but
that would have tied the record at that point, or that being it.
I think he tied his own record already.
I'm about to say.
Yeah, but what else about
the
offense looks fine to me. Javonte Williams, a lot of people question that he looks like a perfectly fine running back.
Looks healthy. He looks good again.
And I kind of wish that Jadon Blue would get some more snaps with the running back. I'm not saying more snaps, but actually play because he was a healthy scratch this week. So I kind of want to see him get some snaps behind Javonte Williams. I'm not really too sold on Miles Sanders, but hey, he kind of shook back from last week. He didn't have a touchdown. Yeah, so he kind of shook back from last week. But like I said, Cowboys won this game off of Brent Maher, and the Cowboys got bailed out by the Giants just being undisciplined. The fact that the Giants had one player get like 6 flags in the first quarter just goes to show a lot. And then throughout the game, it was flag after flag after flag on the Giants. The Cowboys
Yeah.
had their flags too, but the Giants, oh my gosh, it was atrocious. And like you said, like I said, Brian Dable got to make them boys run. Just make them run. Got to discipline them because it just showed the lack of just discipline. Because the Giants, in my opinion, they should have won that game. The Cowboys should be 0-2 right now. As much as I hate to say it, they should not have won that game. But offense looks fine. It's the defense that just for this season, it's going to be what can the defense do? You know, Cowboys just brought in Jadeveon Clowney, but I don't think that's going to be enough, honestly.
He's good in the run game, better than he's
it's
better
a
in
good
the run game than he is.
veteran presence there. You know, he's no
and I mean the run game has been better than it was last year, but this year that secondary, I'm just it leaves me speechless.
I mean, Wan'Dale Robinson had over 130 yards.
He looked like Randy Moss.
Wan'Dale Robinson. And like Russ, he threw for 450 yards. That's almost 1,000 yards in one game. Like that's absurd. I mean, like I think the pass rush for the Giants looked pretty good. I mean, Kayvon Thibodeau, finally, had a highlight. I'll say that.
Brian Burns had another sack.
So, the pass rush was nice for the Giants, but like you said, Deuce, those penalties at the end, I feel like Russell Wilson could have won this game like 3 separate times, but it still wasn't enough. And then we saw, Dart getting some looks on some plays. He was even in, I believe, on 4th down some plays. So, I mean, they really tried everything to win this game, but they still came up short. And, I believe the Giants, they're still going to be tested this week. Next week. They have the Chiefs. So the Chiefs are 0-2. So they're going to want their first win. So it's looking rough for the Giants as well.
No, just real quick that Noah just asked, last thing, any thoughts on the Giants running some plays with Dart in such a close game?
Yeah, exactly.
It was weird. It was bizarre. Yeah. It was happening in another game at the same time where there was just some weird coaching decisions. And like, I don't understand why you would put Dart in and then put Russell Wilson back. Like, I don't know what they were doing there. Like, I thought at first Russell Wilson was injured and like had to come out for a play, but it made no sense. But just to talk about Russ really quick, like, I mean, he looked like Super Bowl Russell Wilson at first, like throwing for 450 yards. Neighbors looked untouchable,
that interception
unguardable. Then you blow the game after 450 yards. Like I saw a headline pop up. It's like you live and die by the moon ball. Like it's great, but you're also gonna throw him up and Donovan Wilson. That was like the one play he made, but like he was just playing center field. He was standing there. The ball was thrown right to him. And we were texting Brandon Keeler from Sports Nuts at the same time, and he was like bench Russell Wilson. I don't think necessarily bench him yet. And because I guess he played so well too.
And I guess lastly,
how do you cost he's such a veteran. How do you cost your team like that at the end?
Yeah, and I guess lastly, we could quickly talk about Sunday night football matchup actually about to get started right now. And then we also
already
have
going.
Monday night. We got the Falcons and the Vikings.
3-0 Falcons.
Yeah, I personally, I got the Vikings in this one, but I could very much see Atlanta win this with their defense. Going up against a young 21-year-old quarterback in JJ McCarthy. Vikings fans were also coming for my head with the power rankings I came out with, but we'll see how tonight goes. And then on Monday we have the double header with the Chargers and Raiders, and I believe the other game is Tampa Bay and the Houston Texans. So I mean, any quick thoughts on those games before we get into the MLB segment?
Look, I'm gonna say this real quick.
Nope.
There you go. You're back.
Yep.
Okay, I'm back. Yeah, I want the Falcons to win because I believe they should have won last week. I think Koo cost them the game, and I think the Falcons are way better than they are last year. I think Michael Penix is finally coming into form. This team is finally coming into form. They're a young team. They got the weapons. The offense looks, in my opinion,
missed the last part. Heard most of it.
Yeah, but it went out again. But basically, that's pretty much it. I think they're the better team than the Vikings. And last week, I think at sometimes JJ McCarthy showed his inexperience, although they did win. he did show some inexperiences, and I think Michael Penix kind of has the edge because he played last year and JJ McCarthy didn't. So,
well, and a fun little tidbit is it's a rematch of the national championship game from two years ago. I also the reason I chose the Falcons is purely because Michael Penix looked so good in Week 1 that I just thought that Michael Penix is going to win this. Like he's just going to play a little bit better than JJ McCarthy, like you said, a little bit more experience. But it really boils down to if the Vikings defense can stop him. And yeah, I mean the Falcons pass rush actually looked really, really good. Like they did what they're supposed to do. They got the pass rushers in the draft and in the offseason, and they improved the worst part of their game. They already had a good offense. Darnell Mooney's back this game, so we'll see if he can break loose and do something. But that's why I picked the Falcons. And I also want the Falcons to win, so Minnesota Vikings fans will just quiet down a little bit. You know what I'm talking about, Ben.
Yeah, sir. But yeah, if that wraps it up for our football segment, I think
I got one more thing.
Oh, what you
the
got?
Broncos Colts game. Okay, so we're only in week 2, but like this was the week of just boneheaded plays costing your team. And it's like what the Super Bowl teams, they have good work ethic. They just they're disciplined. Whereas the Broncos Colts game, it was a 60-yard field goal, which the Colts, I forget the kicker's name, but he missed it. And then a 15-yard leverage penalty ends up getting a re-kick, 45-yarder, very makeable kick, hits it right down the middle. So the Broncos would have won the game if not for a really undisciplined penalty. This Caleb Johnson gave the Seahawks a touchdown, and then we've touched on some other ones. So it's only week 2, but we got to clean that up. We got to clean that up and get some disciplined football going on. Otherwise, these bad teams are never going to get better.
Yeah, these games that were watched today, I don't even know what today's Sunday was, but if that wraps up our football segment today, thank you guys for having me. I'm going to go run, but stay tuned for the rankings this week. And the Jets will be very low. So adios, guys.
The Cowboys will be just as low too. I don't think they're all.
All right, take it easy, Ben. And then MLB, wrap up with MLB.
Yes, Adam, we got to talk about that. We got to talk about the AL West right now. That race and the Red Sox dropping. What are your thoughts on it?
Mariners won 8 in a row. Mariners, but I'm not ready to just fully buy into the Mariners again because they were so bad on the road. They looked like they were just dropping, and then all of a sudden at home they go on an 8-game winning streak. The good part is I think there's 14 games to go. 8 of them are at home. 6 of them are away. The bad part is 3 or 4 of the 6 games that are away are in Houston. So right now the Mariners have a 1-game lead on Houston after winning today, and then the Astros lost. I think the Mariners are for real, but I just need to see it on the road consistently to believe they can win a road series, or otherwise they're just, as soon as they don't have home field advantage in the playoffs, which good chance it's right away unless they win the division, they're going to get knocked out, just not playing well enough on the road. But the Rangers obviously streaking. I'm more worried about the Rangers than the Astros. Red Sox have given back a couple, but you go ahead.
And I mean, I thought the Red Sox were on it. They were doing fine for a while, but they've been losing to the Yankees, and they did. I got to check the score today, but I don't know if they won or not.
Red Sox?
Yes. Did they win today?
It was 6-0 when we started recording. Red Sox are up.
They're up there right now, but they've lost other 2 games to the Yankees, so it's kind of dropped them a little bit in the standings. And I was saying, Adam, I remember I told you, I said somebody out of the AL West from the Rangers, the Mariners, or the Astros is not going to make the playoffs. But there's a chance that if the Red Sox keep dropping, as much as I hate to say this, if they keep dropping and the Rangers just keep winning despite the loss today, they can jump into that final spot. And the Rangers are only 2 games back of the Astros for first place. I think, like you said, Adam, consistencies at times. But
cut out the very end, but I heard most of it. Damn it, you cut out again.
Basically just said just inconsistencies at times. So that's pretty much it.
I will say that it was 6-0 Red Sox, and now the Yankees got 3 on the board, so now it's 6-3. It's still only the 5th inning, so Red Sox could cough up this one as well. That's, I mean,
Yeah.
a good baseball team when you get close to the playoff time and in playoffs. I mean, you win with good starting pitching and like a good bullpen will carry you so far. So I mean, if they're
And
coughing up a 6-0 lead, that's a big red flag.
And you
Go ahead.
mentioned a good pitching, good pitching, good bullpen. That is what the Rangers have. You know, they have good pitchers on that roster. It's just at times the defense is just what, or like the fielding issues is just what cost them these games. But I think that the Rangers have a very strong chance to make the playoffs. And right now, I just hope they keep winning, even though I don't watch them that much. But I just hope they keep winning. But I do want the Red Sox to make the play-in, but I'm not playing, but playoffs. But at the cost, if the Rangers will make it, I would probably prefer to have the Rangers in over the Red Sox. But like I said, the Red Sox, it could go either way for these teams. It's just a very close race. And I like how you said it back in, June. All these games and finally comes down to it like at the end. And strength of schedule is definitely a big factor because you see some teams doing better than others than other teams, for instance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think that's why the Mariners have been favored by most people to either take the division lead as they finally have, or just make the playoffs in general. They've had like a really high percentage chance just because they have a much easier schedule than the Astros. The Yankees and Red Sox are having to play each other right now. The Astros and Rangers just did. So it doesn't really matter at that point who wins. In fact, I was cheering for the Astros because it was the weird way it worked out, because if the Rangers win, then they could potentially pass you. But basically, it helped the Mariners more by the Astros winning. And then now, just a few days later, the Mariners are able to catch them and then take the lead. But you want to get into power rankings? You also just froze again. Okay, now you're good, I think. You want to do power rankings, Deuce?
Yes, and I'm going to try to do them really quick because, one, I first, two, the Phillies, three, the Blues. Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Can you hear me, Adam?
It was going in and out. Yeah,
Okay,
now
so,
I can.
Okay, yeah, and I'm probably gonna have to post these because Wi-Fi is not the best right now. But one would be the Brewers, two would be the Phillies, three the Blue Jays, four the Tigers, five the Cubs, six the Dodgers, seven the Mariners. Like I said, Adam, they're 9-1 in their last 10. I gotta give them props when it's due. Eight the Yankees, nine the Padres, 10 the Astros, 11 the Red Sox, 12 the Rangers, 13 the Mets. And although the Mets are in the playoffs right now, I will say this: there's more competition, in my opinion, in the American League than it is in the National League right now. Although that the
Agreed.
National League does have some top teams, I think the competition is just more close in the American League than it is in the National League. And it kind of reminds me of the West right now in basketball. In the Western Conference, you got all these good teams, but some don't make the playoffs. As versus the Eastern Conference, you got these good chunk of teams, and the rest are just like, But that's just my go on it.
No, I couldn't agree more. Yeah, if the Mets make the playoffs, I don't think they're a threat in the playoffs. But seeing crazier things happen where like a team doesn't have a good bullpen, they might have even like a bottom five bullpen. I think the Rangers, the year they won the World Series, that's how it was. And then as soon as they got in the playoffs, it was lights out. Everyone stepped up. Everyone was really good. But I think we had most similar, so I'll just go through really quick. I got Brewers 1. Phillies finally moved up to my 2 spot. They deserve it. They're just right behind the Brewers for the best record. Did you still have Brewers first?
Yes, first
Okay,
90
okay.
wins. You got to give props when it's due.
For sure. Yeah, and I think Phillies are like 89 right now.
Yeah,
Phillies are right. I was hopeful that the Mariners were gonna be a 90-win team, but now when I said that like last week that they were gonna, I forget what I told my brother, they would have to go like 18-5 the rest of the games, and then they went on an 8-game winning streak. So crazier things have happened. It's possible, but they're probably not gonna be a 90-win team. So Phillies are at 2, Blue Jays at 3, Tigers at 4, Dodgers at 5, Cubs at 6. I'm with you. I got Mariners at 7. Yankees at 8, Red Sox at 9. I got Padres at 10. And then I actually put the Rangers in front of the Astros. So I got Rangers at 11 because I think they're going to overtake them, and they've been better lately. And then I got Astros at 12. I didn't go beyond that because to me, I don't think any team outside of those 12 can win the World Series. And at this point, it's kind of seeming like no, I guess any of those teams could still win the World Series. Just anything.
The only reason
it's crazy.
The only reason I threw the Mets in there is just because they're in the playoffs. But like you said, I don't think they can win the World Series.
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
Very strong chance of competing for a World Series title.
You said someone's got a really strong chance of. Who'd you say? Did you say they don't have, or you cut out? What was the last thing you said?
But are you back, Adam? It's kind of going
Yeah.
on your end now.
Oh, okay.
Are you back?
Okay, I'm back.
Okay.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes. But
Okay.
basically wrapping this up, this will be posted on YouTube just shortly, Instagram shortly. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe. Make sure y'all also tune into Adam's Apples from this morning. And then make sure y'all also tune in to me and Michael's HBCU football segment that we'll be recording shortly after. But as always, it's love from inside the locker room. And just stay safe, basically, everybody. And that's y'all.
Cut out again at the end, but I think you ended it. Yes, you did.